Hello, fellow travelers. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey. And today we're going to look at the transit field of the day and of the week. Yesterday, the sun entered the 45th gate, gathering together, the gate of the gatherer, the mistress and Mr., the king and the queen, the gate of domineering. So let's look at the gatherer. In the I Ching, the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. Today we're in the second line, consensus. Gathering together is strengthened by acknowledged common interest. The inventiveness to establish techniques by which common ground can be assessed. A material direction through the expression of techniques for the benefit of others. And it's in detriment, an innate rebellion against conformity, the refusal to accept the material techniques of others. Yesterday, we had the first line canvassing the ability to promote and develop gathering together through the education of the uncommitted. The material direction lies in education, and the detriment on overzealousness that turns canvassing into proselytation and tends to alienate rather than gather support. The drive for material that leads to aggressive education. A lot of aggressiveness yesterday. And in the next few days, we're going to go through the third line of exclusion, the ability when excluded to take whatever measures are necessary to dissolve the antiquated form and to accept even humiliation to achieve inclusion, and the expression of frustration when not included in a material process, an aggressive and often violent reaction to exclusion. These we will be watching basically today, later today, and tomorrow, mainly in the third line. Then we will get to the fourth line, which is direction, the ability to focus the opportunity of gathering together for the service of higher principles, the expression of higher principles in the material plane, and the detriment, the tendency to try to influence the direction of a group action for personal benefit, the lack of expression of higher principles on the material plane. Then we get to the leadership in the fifth line. All gathering together must have a center and a focus. The intuitive intellect and gift for innovation that enhance the group effort and ensure continuity through respect of the center. The gift for expressing leadership on the material plane, and in the down part, the drive for leadership that may not have yet earned the right and the respect has not been earned because it is a sense of right action that assumes a respect that may not yet have been earned. To pretend for leadership, which is not there yet, which is not naturally expressed yet. And in the sixth line, reconsideration, an outsider that can admit that its prior rejection was an error will generally be accepted into the gathering. An innate empathy with the outsider mentality and its eccentric and often misunderstood logic, a material direction which serves the outsider. Where Uranus will innovate to find a place for an outsider, Jupiter will demand that it conforms. A material direction that is focused on conditioning the outsider in conform. reconsideration. That's the sixth line. We will feel it basically as from Sunday till the end of Monday before we move to the next step, which is the 12th gate, the gate of caution, standstill. But for now, we're going to be in the energy of the gatherer, the queen and king, and this energy is balanced and gets its grounding in the 26th gate, the gate of the trickster, the taming power of the great, the gate of the egoist, the small ego. So we have here the will to control in the 45th gate, the will to control in the 21st, because we also have Mars. The energy dynamics, the immature energy is inviting through the gate of the hunter, huntress. We're going to look at the 45th, 21, the channel of the material line, the channel of money. But for now, we're going to look at the Earth, the 26th gate, which is now in the second line. Basically, the lessons of history, the energy and depth of reflection to learn from the past in anticipation of the future, the power of the ego to mature through experience, the urge to take action despite the evidence of history, and the failure of the ego to respect experience. So this is an ego which has to do its mistakes, although it's the natural, the second line, in order to respect the evidence of history and the experience from the lessons. Otherwise, it is only learning from the past in anticipation of the future. Basically, this ego can only mature through experience. And the trickster, the 26th gate, basically is the gate of the liar. But sometimes the big liar can give absolute truths and say things that others don't dare. So we're gonna have in this background frequency that we're gonna see as from yesterday for the next few days, a lot of energy for owning. The 45th gate has the voice of I want to control, and basically to take action of, it is where the willpower gets to the throat, the only actually outlet of the will of the tribe to a gate, a primal gate of action and expression. So basically this is either the willpower, the material expression and will to control, or the selfishness. Basically, the king's power and the responsibility that he has lies in benefiting the tribe. If you can be of use to the tribe, you can indulge as you wish, including even declining some actions or experiences. But if it's good for the tribe, it has value. And then it's a practical possibility for you to do your thing, only if it is practical for the tribe. So it's the money line activated here. Let's look also at the second gate, The receptive, the gated direction of the self. It's in first line intuition, sensitivity to disharmony and atrophy. Basically, the values and the relating, which is going to be talked about today specifically. And actually, it will be also for the next few days. We're gonna talk about the disharmony and atrophy today, and the importance of aesthetics, whether inborn or acquired, and higher knowing through aesthetics. But in general, the second gate, it's the gate of the seat of the driver, where the magnetic monopole sits. This is the receptive, and receptivity is the primal base through which any response is determined, where the root of action lies. This is the most yin energy we can get. And this is where Uranus is, as well as Venus. So our values, what we're going to perceive the following days will be, as I said, in the gate of higher knowing, which is the most receptive. It is where the higher self is, as the ancient people would have called it. And it's a mechanical function of our vehicle, where the magnetic monopole is, which gives our direction and love. So the values will be connected to what direction can we take? And because it's in an open center, we don't know. We have here a manifestor day, and frankly, a manifestor week till Monday. So there will be a lot of unnecessary action and a lot of talking, and everybody will walk around think that they can start things and ignite fires and own things. A lot of expressing leadership in the sense of like, I am the one who says where we should go. But as well, also here we have the unusualness, the chaos and innovation, also in the second line, in the second gate, the fourth line, secretiveness, more than modesty, the ability to preserve harmony through discretion. The higher goal transcends personal acclaim. The team player, acknowledged as the leader, but never the captain, where higher knowing does not have to be expressed to be recognized. And which way we should take, which is correct for us, can also bring chaos and can basically go against our values if we are not correct by following our personal strategy and authority. Because if we're a generator, we're not here to initiate unless the universe initiates us. Actually, with so much initiating energy, people around you will be running around initiating stuff. And if you keep to your strategy, you will be like this, this, yes, no, yes, no. And if you're a projector, you will get probably a lot of invitations. If you're a reflector, you'll be initiated. So is it correct for you according to your authority? That's the main thing. Otherwise, you're running around without knowing what to think, what to be inspired of, not knowing the right direction, not knowing what is healthy and beneficial, not knowing totally when enough is enough, actually being inadequate of when to stop or when to continue with action, not knowing what to feel or take decisions and talk out of emotional chaos instead of clarity, emotional clarity, and being in a hurry under the pressure to transcend limitation with decisiveness, the understanding of nature of limitation, and to accept its restraints when necessary, and thus be able to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. Energy which can adapt to restraint. But here it's in an open center, so it can be exaggerated. Or an adaptation to restraint that becomes habitual and maintains the nature of the limitation even when it is no longer, it does no longer exist. The energy for adaptation that can get stuck without eventual mutation. So the truth, the transformation, and the psychology in the air is pushing, fueling to be in a hurry to get rid of the pressure which is building there, and trying to be decisive when maybe it's not the time. Also, if we look at the channel 4521, the channel of materialism, which links the throat center through the 45th, the gate of gathering together, to the 21st, the gate of biting through. Yeah. So the energy goes, it's a very willful voice. I will, I can, I have the power to, I have or I don't have. It's the influence of the tribe over the human affairs. It's basically the only direct connection to the throat, the only voice the tribe has. And the tribe wants two things: money and a secure and a reliable commitment from everyone to be tribal together. And this is the 26th gate and the 21st gate are part of the democratic materialistic way. It is, here is, we have free trade, and here we have socialism. So the following days, we have the material side, the materialistic side, 21st gate, 26th gate, which is about owning. There is nothing here done for respect and friendship and for the tribe. It's done for money. It's done for materialism. It's done for reign and power and having and owning, being hereditary. Here we have the monarch, the aristocrat, the blue-blooded king and queens, where everything is being passed through the birthright. So it's about blood, and it's about money, and it's about selling to the tribe, being the best, making things better, working as least as possible, looking for the most return on investment, ROI. And this is what the energy of the next few days will be. Materialism is the way. And what really satisfies it is putting money to work. This is the channel that has developed the simple business model of barter or village trade into the complex business model we have today. Basically, people with this channel have the education and the control to understand and direct financial dealings on a more complex level. The stock market, the banks, the speculation, the kinds of business venture that return dividends on investment over time. So for those kinds of money-making enterprises to succeed requires the support of many, and it requires that each person involved be knowledgeable and trustworthy in keeping their part of the deal. Basically, this is the tribal qualities. No matter how complex the structure, at its core, at the same basic two things will always apply. The community that uses the money and the money itself. So if we look, and I already saw several articles talking about huge inflation rates, maybe upcoming stagflation. This is like a hyperinflation, so not good. And actually, frankly, we're waiting for some economic collapse already for quite some time. I remember even before the pandemic, I had conversations with friends of mine, which are financial brokers, and they work on the stock exchange. And we're already talking for several years before the pandemic, maybe 1 or 2 years, that we're very close to some crisis and maybe some recession. And then boom, the pandemic hit. And then it was masked a little bit because of the whole change and putting everything on hold and businesses and everything. But now, post-pandemic, it is again getting into a great recession. We blame the war in Ukraine, which actually has a big impact on food resource because they're one of the biggest exporters of wheat for bread, and also fertilizers for different crops. So it hugely affects the entire world's export and import of actually a food resource of bread. Even it turns out that the African countries are a big importer from Ukraine, exactly, of wheat. Also, the gas crisis, the European electricity and energy crisis. So basically, the next few days, we're going to talk a lot about that, and we're going to hear that a lot on the news. And at the same time, we continue to have the nodes into the 23rd and 24th gate, both in fourth lines, which are the fragmentation, fatalism and egoism, atheism and paranoia, breakthrough, the gate of insight, the gate of deafness, excuse me, the one-track mind, stubbornness and obsession with one's mental abilities in the face of recurring obstacles, and believing inherent right action based on limited knowledge that shuns advice, the vanity to attempt expression without depth. This continues to be in the environment, friends. So be aware. There's going to be a lot of talk about money, deception, basically the 26th gate is also the gate of memory and manipulating memory, not remembering stuff that obstacles or concerns that we had in the past, forgetting some circumstances very comfortably. At the same time, we have talking about the material plane, about money, about owning and controlling stuff, because basically the 45th gate and specifically the 21st gate, which is also activated, the channel of materialism, it's all about controlling what you eat, how you dress, who you work for, how you do stuff. So basically it's about not having boss, not being told what to do, but the opposite, controlling. This is in the air, guys, and be aware, because you yourself can do a lot of damage to yourself by not being in the right timing. And you know, we have the channel genius to freak activated, the channel of structuring, which links the throat center through the 23rd, the gate of splitting apart, to the 43rd, the gate of breakthrough in the ajna center. And here we have the expression of the individual minds, concepts are grasped as insights that have broken through in gate 43rd and restructured, then expressed in the 23rd gate. So genius to freak. If you're understood, your insights are valued and you're perceived as a genius. And when you don't wait, basically damn the consequences, as we saw. And in 23rd gate, and having so much energy to act out of will. And we know that 70% of the people have an open ego. So they will think they have the ego, they will think they have the will and the power to take words into action, to express, to materialize, to manifest. And most importantly, that they will give so much promises that cannot be kept. Guys, don't believe a word of what you're hearing as promises for the next few days, because 70% of the people will be walking around giving promises and not being able to keep them. Right now, they will have the will, they will think they have the will, and they will feel sure that they're going to do it. They will feel they have the power to do it and to make deeds come true and words into action. There'll be a lot of talking, a lot of blah, blah, blah. I know. I control, I want to give my contribution, because this is what we have. Mercury, 8th gate, 3rd line, the phony. Acceptance of the style and not the substance of communal actions. We have seen this for the past actually several weeks. So this energy continues. Also, we have the 36th gate, darkening of the light, the gate of crisis continuing, the point at which decline has exhausted its power. Transition, the tendency in renewal to try to assimilate the remains of the old order into the new, with the risk that it may rise again against the new order once it has regained its strengths. Or the exaltation, the ability to establish a new order out of the ashes of the old. So also the gate of crisis, still activated, and it's activated by Neptune. Illusion and spirituality, transcendence, but it's something we don't know. It is invisible. We don't know what's going on. Still, the fates are also activated by Saturn. So this is where we're going to be limited and disciplined, especially if we don't follow our law and protection and our values. And the law and protection, gate 17, following the gate of opinion, 2nd line, discrimination, the benefit of associations based on the highest values, the successful achievement of purpose through proper alignment, an overreactive discrimination that leaves one virtually alone, the possibility of being opinionated at the expense of relationships. So our relationships can be at stake. Not following our law and protection, we can get basically limited in composture and the balance in the face of disorder, which is evident here with the 36th gate, the 60th gate of limitation, not knowing exactly the direction, secretiveness, and the intuition, sensitivity to disharmony and atrophy, the importance of aesthetics, whether inborn or acquired, higher knowing through aesthetics. And the focus of the mind, the driving force, work on what has been spoiled, the gate of correction. In the 1st line, conservatism, the adherence to traditional patterns despite and or in spite of changing circumstances. Gradual modification to avoid eventual upheaval, or the patriarch whose rigidity guarantees deterioration, the potential to refuse to correct. So it is a tough week, I would say, if you have no idea that this is going on, because we will hear a lot of criticism, not wanting to correct, limitations, not knowing how to overcome them, having the fates um, in the gate of feelings, not knowing uh, what is the correct expression of those feelings in with the crisis, and especially with the possibility uh, to willfully express. The material expression is here, and the will to control. So a lot of stuff can be done, which is not, they don't have the energy to be sustained, because as we know, the will, it only works when absolutely necessary. When basically when the fridge is empty, you go shopping, but not before that. So this energy knows when to rest and when to actually put your willpower into things. But right now, we will be unsatiably not knowing when enough is enough, using this willful energy for everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite some, maybe even heart attacks, because using your will for things you don't have actually the will to do. And in the northern hemisphere, it's summer, big temperatures, high temperatures. So be careful, because if you overstrain your heart, you may have different health problems, heart problems and stomach problems, and other health issues. But the most important thing is to be correct, so that you take action when it is indeed correct and authentic for you to do so. Because this energy is in the air, after all. If it is correct, you might be utilizing it. And if it is not, not. This transit field, those transits, basically, they are our chance for expanding our consciousness and getting a broader view and experiencing new energies and learning from them, because we're here to be at school. So all those 70% of people who have an open ego have a chance to learn about will, about control, about having, about standing for your opinion and taking the stand, and improving things, and even manipulating memory can be something good, because what effect does it have to constantly return backwards and think, oh, I failed here? When you go to your new job, you don't have to talk about the failing in the previous job. You better concentrate on the current job and do the best. So in this respect, the trickster can be something really good, to utilize what you have and remember the best. Why remember the worst? Why go back? It's even for some people who have the 26th gate, line 4, if I am not mistaken, they should never go to rebirthing and such activities which return you to the past. It's not about that for them. It's about letting go of the past. That's what manipulating the memory can be about. And the same is like the 43rd gate, this deafness, not hearing the other, but being attuned to your own inner voice. It is about staying true to yourself and not being pulled and manipulated by outside forces. So these energies can be something really useful and valuable, and lesson to be learned, experience to be experienced, even though it can be in a crisis way, challenging authorities, and even being afraid of the past experiences. So it is about a journey, my fellow travelers. It's about your journey. It's not about my journey. It's not about his, hers, theirs, or ours journey. Although we're all connected, we're all one, we're the totality together. And this is what this channel is about. The totality together in one tribe, in oneness. And being freaky and unique. And actually, it is the tribe which supports the individual, the mutative, the strange. Look how many individual channels, gates, sorry, excuse me. There can be melancholy in the air, and it is the tribe supporting it. The collective is afraid of the opinions of the collective. They're afraid of the freaks because they bring mutation, and mutation cannot be predicted. And the collective wants to predict via the patterns of the past or the logic of the future patterns and the past experience to project a safe future, good for all of us. But as we know, the tribe needs new blood to expand the gene pool so that we have a healthy generation to pass on our genes. Everything is interconnected. Everything has its sense and its value. And you, my friends, have your own place in the bigger picture. What is it about? Why are you here? Who are you? Who do you influence? Who do you impact? Who recognizes you? What is your group to lead? What surprises you and lets you be free? And free of will, free of the vacuum, expanding your light, being authentic, being yourself, being surprised, being initiated by life, being you on your place with your people in the right timing. That's what human design is about. To allow us to see through the curtain, to see through the water vagueness of Neptune, not be afraid of not knowing, but actually be excited of what is here to come. I wish you a great several days, and being authentic as much as you can. Wake up this true observer who is really on the back seat. There's nothing to control. There's nothing to be controlling of. It just is happening in the best controlling or uncontrolling way. It is the time to sit back, relax, and take that crazy ride. Wish you great days, fellow travelers. I'm Veronica from Human Design Journey. Speak to you soon. Bye.